terms of my background, I really got lucky. I grew up in Colorado and um, fell into mountain guiding. I sort of grew up skiing and climbing as recreational pursuits and things like that. And I got to guiding a little bit later in life in my early 30s. And by then, the avalanche world had several decades under its belt and had started really amassing a bunch of sort of institutional knowledge and things like that. And the mountain guiding community, the United States got into the international community in 97, if I remember correctly. And so, the founding countries of the international mountain guiding community were France, Italy, Switzerland, Germany, Austria. The Brits, of course, are now in, and little by little, other countries like Canada, the U.S., New Zealand have gotten into this international organization. So really, there was a bunch of momentum and things like that. But I really credit the avalanche practitioners like Tom Murphy and Colin Zacharias and folks like that who had the wisdom early on to recognize that we didn't need to really start from square one. There were other folks that had done great work in aviation or medicine or business, engineering, things like this. And so, Tom Murphy was one of my mentors coming up through the avalanche world. And so Murph would send out these articles I remember him sending out a white paper from a Swiss engineering sort of risk management consulting thing. And I thought, geez, I'm not going to read this whole thing. But you get in there and you recognize like these folks are just like you're saying, they're managing the exact same problems we have: high uncertainty environments, pretty serious consequences. For us, it's broken legs and avalanches and things like that. In the business world, it could be layoffs, share prices. I mean, and just like you're saying, without being gloomy, I mean, wow, with, inflation doing what it's doing, and then you get a war in Ukraine and all this,
Yeah.
it's just,
Yeah.
man, I would hate to be a fund manager or
Yeah.
something right now.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Most days my job feels a little bit more consequential and complicated, but the last year I've been watching, with COVID, Ukraine, all this, I mean, it would just be, boy, it'd be a rough time to be
Yeah.
making policy decisions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but I love your that sort of three component you know s- um, teaching curriculum you're looking at right now, with taking care of the self, preparing for crises, and then how do you build a team. That really, for me, the team thing backstops everything we do. Like, luckily, it's not, you and I are not just out in the world alone. You've got other people to rely on, and so certainly starting out the ski book that you held up. One of my mentors is Colin Zacharias, that gent there, and Colin's been a mountain guide his whole life. He's been doing it for 40 years, and works up in Canada. But he's um, a consultant now, so he ends up getting flown around the world and doing all these sexy trips, and telling,
Okay.
auditing people's operations and things like that. But Colin was really helpful in those first few chapters about how to prepare and really set ourselves up um, to not just show up at a problem and feel like, oh, this is a catastrophe that I'm not ready for or that I didn't foresee or something like that. So Colin really helped with that sort of what we call backcountry prep, which might start the summer before our ski season, just by maintaining your fitness or practicing anything like with a rope technique that you realized, oh, last winter I didn't know how to do this particular knot or this particular rappelling system or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Colin really tried to instill that in a bunch of his students. That making a good decision in February probably starts the previous summer or fall, something like that. So, as you well know in the business world, it really helps if you've done all that work ahead of time.